sometimes I practice naps and all that. Welcome to Something Fishy Going On, episode 6. This week, rather than being in the All Things Are Possible fish room, we're going to be in my office. I have a couple of Betta tanks that are going to need some beautification. So that's what we're about tonight. Well, let's get with it. So this week's video is not going to be in the All Things Are Possible fish room, but rather in my very messy office. Focus tonight is on my Betta buddies. I've got 3 of them in here. They graduated from the budget beta rack to their own townhouses, okay? This is my favorite fella right here. So he's got a 9-gallon cube. And one more little beta buddy over here, come out so we can see you. And they all have a matching ornament and they have matching substrate, so they're beautiful colors. But I wanted some plants to go in their tanks, and so that's our focus today. Plants for the Betta high-rise tanks. For the center tank, the purple Betta, I decided to use some Swiss cheese monstera that I had. I got these baskets from Dollar Tree for $1.25 for 3. I got these rocks from Dollar Tree, a bag for $1.25. And then I got ceiling grid from Lowe's for over $20 for one 2x4. I decided to cut some holes, 5 holes in the basket, fill the basket with rocks, insert the monstera into the holes. Lucky for you, you won't have to look at my beautiful face. I wanted you to see what I was working on. So I took a piece of the egg crate, and this stuff ain't cheap, so make sure you know what you're doing when you use it, your measurements, and get them right the first time. It's like $20 or more for a 2x4. Well, I marked off, I don't know if you can see, black marks where I want it. So how do you cut this stuff? Well, for me, the easiest route, pair of snippers. So I go to the outside of where I want it. Snip, 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 snip. And I don't try to get it perfect on the first snip. You'll see in a minute that it can be hard to get all of the remnant cut off. We'll have to sand at the end. No, you don't have to, but it makes it easier. Okay, so I go that way. So get my snippers around. They're flat on one side, so that's the side you want to use to cut with, obviously. So, oopsie. Snip, 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 snip. And one more snip. I'm mostly loose, I actually need one more snip. There we go. Now loose. Now we'll show you how to get rid of those edges, because you don't want to cut yourself or anybody else. I've placed it in the vise. You want to be careful that you don't crack it or break it. Like I said, it's expensive. So I put it between 2 pieces of wood, and it's not super tight, but it's tight enough that it should mostly not move. Now, one way to do it, take a file, file down one at a time. Another way, take a palm sander, palm sander gets the big. Now I can come back with a file and finish the job. Those sharp edges off. Now, depending on how you cut it, you might only have 2 sides that need to be fixed. Since I was reusing another piece, I've got all 4 sides. I'm not going to bore you with watching me do the other 4 sides. See you in a little bit. So now we see all the Sharpies are gone. And I should have mentioned also, if you don't have a palm sander, you can just use a sanding block and some regular sandpaper. Okay, next step. Time for snippers again. Gotta make sure you think of what you're doing so you don't cut more than you want. See, because I want that to stay. I need that to stay and that to stay. So I'll go that one in the middle. And I'll work my way down. Okay. That should do it. There we go. You gotta be careful again so you don't break it. So the roots of the monstera have been placed through the holes in the basket, rocks added to the basket, and the basket put into the grid, and now the grid into my little purple friend's tank to add some beautiful plant to his locale. Now it's time to move on and see what we can do for the other two tanks. So I ended up really happy with the result we had on the middle beta tank. There's the roots of the monstera. Monstera's in the basket. Some white and purple rocks there to match the decor. So now it was time to do something similar with the other two tanks. When it came time to pick a plant, I went to man's best friend, Lowe's. Or you could do Home Depot, or my favorite is Menards, but they don't seem to have any Menards here in Texas. But anyway, I went to Home Depot, started looking at plants. I would look at a plant. If I thought it was interesting, I would go online and check to see if it's suitable for aquariums, not poisonous to fish or whatever. And I might note, I don't do planted aquariums per se. I do plants in aquariums, so things that I can plant from on top. And as I would check out something I thought was interesting, I went to my buddy at Plant Life Project. His name is Andrew Ewing, to make sure it's something you could put into an aquarium. And I went with polka dot plant. I got a pinkin. And for the other tank, a polka dot plant and a whiten. So I finished cleaning the plant roots. I let them sit overnight, and as you can see, they've stretched out really nice. They're going to look great in the aquarium. What I'm doing is a similar grid. I found at Dollar Tree for $1.25. They should change the name to $1.25 Tree since things are no longer $1. But this top of the butter tray, precision measuring, fits perfectly in that. So, since I have one large root, what we'll do is make one large hole in the center. Got two of these, one for each 5-gallon aquarium, and so they'll each have one of those. So we're going to start out with a small bit to make a hole right in the center, pressing down very hard and going slowly to keep the plastic from breaking. Spade bit. Put the center of the spade in the hole gently. As you recall from before, I have a hole right in the center of this piece of wood. Tip of the spade bit in the hole in the center of the wood. Press down very firmly. Go very slowly. Get a nice hole in the center. Take our plant. take our plant, carefully feed the roots through the hole in the center. Worked hard to get the roots free from the mud, so we don't want to tear up the roots. So take our time, work it gently through the hole. Probably will lose a root or two, but we have enough here. The plant should be in really good shape. Okay. Set it like so. I'm going to go off camera for a minute and be back. So I'm back. I have some white rocks, just like I used in the center aquarium. So we'll fill this up with some white rocks. Kind of place them to help stand our polka dot plant up vertical. There we go. I'll mention I let these roots soak overnight. Most of the time I let them soak for about a week just to make sure everything was hunky-dory. I think I'll be fine. So I need to fix up another butter dish, get this plant in it, and then we'll go see what they look like in the aquarium. There we are. Each of my little beta buddies here in the front has their own plant and planter. But most importantly, there are roots from the plants growing down into the aquarium to provide nitrogen absorption. Shall I try that word again? Nitrogen absorption. Hello, little friends. Hope you're happy. Well, thanks for joining me for episode 6, Betta Beautification Project. And as always, I hope something fishy is going on in your fish room as well as mine. Have a finny, floppy day. Bye.